Well, welcome back everybody. Josh with Josh's Lawn and Landscape, and as you can see, we have a Badboy Revolt 54-inch cut stand-on mower. Picked this up as a demo just to try one out. I've never used a stand-on mower before, so I thought I'd see what they were all about. Very quality built machine. Start off with, let's look at a couple things. Like I say again, very quality built, very solid, good materials, very heavy duty for a commercial mower. As you can see, the deck here, the braces, very solid, built like a tank. A couple of good things about this mower: it has actually a very good ride. If you look here at the platform, it's spring loaded. This particular mower is a demo model, so it has 48.5 hours on it. I've put about 3.5 of those hours on it so far. I've only had it for about a day and a half. So it's running the Kawasaki FX730, which I believe is 23.5, 24 horsepower. Good speed, good cut quality. Again, very well built, easily accessible. You can see all of your cluster here with your throttle, choke, PTO, ignition, and parking brake. Had to figure a few things out on this when I picked it up. Again, like I say, I've never used a stand-on mower before, so it took a little getting used to. After about the first hour and a half, 2 hours or so, gotten used to actually maneuvering it around, so still improving on that a little bit, but it is a big difference from a sit-down zero-turn John Deere, which I've run for a number of years. But very comfortable mower. Once you get used to it, it's just different with the obviously standing as opposed to sitting. And one thing that took me just a minute to figure out when I first got it was, obviously, if you just simply look up here, you don't see anything on the console or on the cap here for the fuel. Nothing looks like a fuel gauge, and being as I'd never used one before, it kind of took me a minute looking around. I actually had to lift this seat up, the pad, and you can see on top of the tank up there that there is a fuel gauge on the tank. So obviously, as soon as I saw that, I get up here and I look down in this little hole, and you can see the fuel gauge right down in there. You can see the needle there. So once I figured that out, that put me a little more at ease, because my first thought was, well, how am I going to know when I need to put gas in it? So again, first time use. Once I figured that out, it eliminated that worry. So again, very well built, very good cut quality, good forward speed. It has the adjustable, pull the little pin here and you can slide this handle forward or backwards if you have larger, smaller hands. If you're in tight areas, I have it set for, as far as my grip, it's a little easier to maneuver back and forth where it's at. I've gotten out in some open areas on this property here and actually moved this handle forward a little bit, because where I have it at limits the forward speed. When you push these handles all the way forward, it actually bumps into this bar, stops it, and you're actually not at full throttle, full speed going forward. So it took me a minute to figure that out, but if you pull this, slide it forward 1 notch, it actually picks up speed quite a good bit, which top speed it still cuts very well from what little bit I've used it. So just a couple pluses to it. Like I say, everything's easily accessible here with your parking brake and everything. Good power, good cut quality, good build. A couple quick things that I'm not the hugest fan of. Some of this stuff is very extremely little, and then what I consider kind of a big thing just because how much different it is. One small thing was obviously the fuel gauge. I think simply maybe you could just indicate around the top of that hole, just put fuel gauge there. So another thing, depending on the type of fuel can you use, this filler neck can be a little difficult to fill. So Maybe if you have a sure can or something like that, it's much easier. But maybe they could have just taken this and turned it up maybe a little bit so it's a little more vertical. Maybe they did something like that to some sort of issue, maybe with eliminating water from getting in it. I'm not 100% sure, but just one little thing there with that. Maybe they could have turned it a little more vertical to make it easier for certain types of fuel cans, depending on what y'all may use. So it's a little tough for the type that I use because I don't have a sure can. So that's probably a lot easier to use with this configuration here. So other than that, the only other thing that I have noticed for me is the deck raise and lower system here. It has a lever right here. You see this little black lever, and it has a groove back here that actually locks over a pin on the raising and lowering lever here, and you have to pull this handle back and pull that, because when you let it go, see, it's still pull back, it comes up, but then you let go and it does not go down. So you have to reach across, pull this up, lift the lever in order to drop the deck. Easy height adjustment though. I mean, you can just pull the pin here, you just turn it over, pull it out, you know, you can drop it down, raise it up wherever you want it to go. So that's pretty simple, just simply releasing the deck to drop it. Maybe they could have done something to where there's some sort of rod or cable built into this, similar to a push button style, where you push it and it maybe pushes the pin out of that groove to just drop it down, so you can do more of a one-handed release. I'm just so used to, I guess, the foot pedal and the knob on the zero-turn rider, so it takes a little getting used to. Just initially, somewhat of a simple thing still, but just something different for me. And like I say, I've been cutting with it for a little bit. Again, very good cut quality, built like a tank, very sturdily built. Good ride, not a lot of fatigue once you get used to kind of getting standing with the spring-loaded system here. Good comfortable pad. Be a little careful with the Reaper tires making the sharp turns. You really want to focus on doing what they call maybe a 3-point turn, where you kind of swing out, back up, and then turn back into your next run, because these will chew up the ground and the turf a little bit if you do a really quick sharp turn with them. So still a good ride, good gripping tire, and so far that's my first impressions on it. Not a whole lot else I can go over with right now. Let's see, that pretty much covers it, I think. If you guys have any comments or questions or anything, I'm going to have this thing for another day or two before I have to take it back and turn it in, so I'll have some more time on it. But from everything I've seen so far, again, good speed, good ride, good cut quality, good build. Overall, it's a very good machine. A few little quirks, just some stuff that's different simply because of I'm used to the zero-turn rider. So it's a big change again. So I've literally only have 3.5 hours that I've put on this machine on a stand-up mower. I've never been on a Skag V-Ride or Toro Grandstand or any Wright or anything like that. So I'm new to the stand-up game, but I thought it would be interesting to try it out and see what the differences are. So hope you find this video helpful. If you got any comments, questions, feel free to post them, and let me know what you think.